Today we're going to talk about impairment rating of the fingers. I'm Dr. Dave Ravetti, chiropractic physician, designated impairment rating physician for the state of Nevada. I've been doing these for about 28 years. Okay, when we rate the fingers according to the 5th edition of the AMA guidebook, there's 9 things we look for, and I'm going to demonstrate each one of them. The first one is range of motion of the fingers. Each finger has 3 different joints to it. This one here is called the metacarpal phalangeal, which means finger joint, or the MP joint. We also have the interphalangeal joint, and this is the proximal interphalangeal joint, or the PIP. And then we have this one, which is the distal interphalangeal joint, or the DIP. So each one of those we use what's called a finger goniometer, and I'm going to have you bend your finger, this joint, as far down as you can. So something like that. We just do that, and then it reads on the meter here. And then bend this joint. That's it. And then again, we read it right here. And while they're doing that, it just do the same thing. We can also read that joint. So those are all flexion joints. Now, as far as extension, the normal is this to be straight. So that's fairly easy to measure. We just put this on it, and again, we don't see much gap, so that's a straight finger, plus you can just see it straight. However, this joint should have a 20-degree, kind of, I call it a boat. So go ahead and do the boat thing. Yeah, as far as you can see, she's probably about a 30-degree. So that's well within the normal range. So range of motion, that's usually the most common one we can find an impairment on. The second one is sensory. This is if you lose feelings to the finger. Now, each finger has 2 nerves that go on it. One goes from the lateral side, one's from the medial side, and it really splits the finger almost directly in half. And there's 2 ways we do to test the finger sensory. One is how close you can feel 2 points that are together. And we measure in how close the points are. So we use a wheel similar to this, and each point goes farther apart. This is a closer one. This is obviously a farther one. So the testing goes as follows. I'm going to touch your finger with 1 or 2 points. I want you to close your eye. This would be 2 points, and that would be 1 point. So close your eyes and tell me how many points you feel.
Okay. 2. 2. 1. 1.
Okay. And we'll do that on both sides of the finger because, again, there's 2 different nerves to that. Another way we test sensation is by using what's called the Sams-Weinstein monofilament testing. They look like little fishing poles, and they vary in size of the filament that's on there. This is and they do it by, I think, millimeters or nanometers, I don't know, but this is a 6.65, very big, and this one, again, you can barely see. That's the 2.53. So what we do, and people should be able to feel the 2.83. And the way we do this is I'm going to poke you with this and tell me when you feel it.
Okay.
So
I can feel it.
just say now.
No.
Okay. And if they can't feel that, then we'll move on to a different one that's a little bit thicker, and we'll find out what level that is. So that's with sensation. The third thing we look for is amputation, and that's really easy to figure out. Obviously, the finger will be cut off. But as far as value, you would think you can measure the finger, and then if it's cut right in the exact middle, you'll get 50% of the finger's value. However, the finger is from the uh, DIP to the tip of the finger, that you know think like that's be like 25% of the finger, but it's actually valued at 45% of the finger. When it's cut off here, that's 80% of the finger, and of course when you cut off down here, that's 100% of the finger. So uh, moving on to the thumb, um, if the thumb's cut off here, that's 50% of the finger, and of course cut off down here, that's 100% of the finger. So if it's cut off in the middle of that joint, we just interpolate mathematically how much of the 45% uh, is missing, and so that's a direct impairment of the finger. Okay, there's the other things that are not as common as those is we check for triggering, and that's when the finger basically just kind of on itself uh, triggers like you're pulling a trigger. Um, Usually with that they fix it. So I've actually never seen that before in a rating, but I always check for it. There's also grip strength, um, and for that we use a dynamometer, but it's very rare that we use it because you can't use that along with range of motion or painful fingers, and almost everybody has a range of motion problem or painful fingers. But so that is strength. Um, we also use, if there's persistent dislocations, um, that's a rateable impairment. Uh, and there's also, if there's instability in uh, in the joints going this way, so the ligaments have been torn either on this side or this side, and it just kind of goes out of place really easily. That's an impairment. And the last two is um, rotation and lateral deviation. Sometimes you'll see a finger that goes out and then bends off to the side, either that way or that way from the injury. Um, that's a rateable impairment. And then also there's also a rotational impairment, which if the finger's kind of rotated like this, and it's kind of stuck this way, the way I do that, it's just point your fingers at me, and you can kind of see if it's rotated or not. um, Almost everybody has a little bit of rotation on their fingers, but to be a rateable impairment, you just have to show both of them to me, and then if it's different, then it's a rateable impairment. So those are the 9 things. A couple other things to note about impairment ratings of fingers. Um, the thumb has range of motion, 3 different additional range of motions. One is to the radial abduction, thumb out as far as it'll go, and then we measure that one, and then do the opposite of that. Then we measure how close it is to a line. This joint is to the line here, and we kind of measure that. And then the third one is opposition, and act like you're carrying a big stack of books. Yeah. So we measure from there to there. And of course, she doesn't have an impairment, so it's quite large. So those are the 3 extra ones. A couple other things. If we find range of motion issues or any type of impairment, we always compare it to the opposite hand. Actually, we don't always. If there's injury to the other hand, we can't do a comparison. But like if there's limited range of motion here, we check this one here, and if this is impaired, we just subtract the impairment from that, and that's quite frequently that, especially in older individuals, they tend to get a little bit less range of motion of their fingers just with arthritic changes, and then we also if there's pain or if the nail bed is deformed, there's really no impairment rating for that in and of itself. If that's the only thing the claimant has is just that my finger hurts like heck and the nail is all deformed, really there's no rateable impairment. This just can't be measured very well. And then the last thing is, as far as the values of each finger, fingers are very valuable with respect to impairment, because impairment tries to figure out how how efficient you can work. So as far as your whole body concerned, these two fingers are worth 5% each of your whole body. These two fingers are worth 11% of your whole body each, and the thumb is worth 22% of your whole body. So if this finger was cut off, it'd be an easy you'd be 11% impaired of your whole body. Uh, in comparison, um, if you had your thumb and these three fingers cut off, that would be the same as having your leg cut off, as far as percentage wise. In fact, that would be more. I think your leg would be 40%. This would be that. So that's how we do the fingers. And thanks for watching.